Goodness, man. I need a pickle, man. I feel like crap. What up, bro?
What up, NR420? Look like you had a long night, bro. Hey, how'd that show go last week?
Man, that shit was a straight bust. I did horrible.
I knew you were gonna blow it, bro.
I don't know why. I thought I was gonna do good. I think I smoked too much.
You trash. I told you, man. You should have just let me do it. Nah, but you wanted to do it. Garbage. You trash.
Man, NR87, you always talking some mess, bro. If you think you can do it, you're more than welcome to. I ain't see you get up there and do it. If you think you really think you can do it better,
Oh, I know for a fact I can do it better than you. Any day of the week.
then go do it.
Nah. That's game. Pass the sticks, ho. Yup. Get off my shit. Sounds like you two scrubs having a problem. Sad. But, don't worry. Yo, who's
Big NR24 gonna help y'all fix that. I'll show y'all scrubs how this shit's supposed to be done. Dumbasses.
Yo, does he live here? What up? And welcome back to another episode of Rickle Me Pick. I am your host, NR. We on the scene, you know what I'm saying, in an unknown location somewhere. And I just want to shout out all my outer dimensionalers, you know what I mean? All my extraterrestrials, all my out of this worlders, all my sci-fiers, all my Rick and Mortyers, you know what I mean? Just welcome to another episode. You know what I'm saying? We back. Like I said, this is episode 2, and I am NR. And you know, I appreciate all the views last week. Last week we dropped the very first episode on 420. It went all right, you know what I'm saying? It went all right. Could have did better, could have did worse, but we here with it, and we're gonna keep coming here with it, and we can continue doing the damn thing because that's what it is. Last week we spoke episode 1, season 4. I believe that was the Edge to Morty, Rick Die Rick, or Rick Die Repeat. And today we'll be describing or going over episode 2, season 4, and that is The Old Man in the Seat. Yes, sir. This is number 2 on my list of favorite episodes of season 4. We know there's 10 episodes in season 4. This has to be rated number 2. We haven't got to my number 1 pick yet. It's coming up soon. But yes, this is one of my favorites, you know, in this season. A lot going on in this episode, man. If you haven't seen it for whatever reason, because, you know, it has been out for like 2 years now, I would watch it before watching this, because they're, you know, I'm gonna straight just spoil it and just, you know, mess it up for you. But I recommend you watching it, and if you have watched it, well, then you're gonna know exactly what we're talking about. A lot of dynamic in this episode, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of places traveled, a lot of references, a lot of comparisons. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun one, man. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and we're gonna jump right into this breakdown of the old man in the sea. Oh, before I look at that, man, boom, I had a little intro for y'all. Welcome all. You know what I'm saying? Welcome all my aliens. You know, anybody else from out of this world, in this world that's not from this world, welcome. But yeah, here we go, man. You know, so the old man in the seat, episode 4, or I'm sorry, season 4, episode 2. Now, this episode, you know, it starts off and it takes place. Hold up, wait a minute now. Let me find my stuff. This episode starts off and it takes place inside of the Smith household. They're at the table, you know, they're eating breakfast, and you know, Rick calls up one of his infamous interns, and it happens to be old Gluty. Here is Gluty right here. Oh, small picture of Gluty. I don't know why it's so small, but here we go. So as you can see, we got Gluty right here, and bam. Oh, wait a minute. Messing up. So let me go ahead and close this out. I'm gonna open this up for you so you can all see Gluty here for a minute. Bam. There we go. All right. So y'all see Gluty right here. Now, Gluty wasn't even originally supposed to look like this. He looked completely different, and after about like 5-6 modifications, boom. You know what I'm saying? We got the infamous Gluty, the Comic-Con Funko Pop, you know, exclusive edition for the year. I believe it was like 2019, 2020. Gluty was the Comic-Con Funko Pop exclusive. So all my Funko Pop collectors out there, you know, I'm a Funko Pop collector myself, you know, in the makes, you know what I'm saying? I'm just getting started, but you know, I love it. And so all my Funko Pop collectors, man, if you want an exclusive, hard to find, I will get out there and look for the Gluty Comic-Con Funko Pop exclusive. Oh yeah. I took a look at it the other day, very detailed, very, very nice. So I'm gonna definitely be trying to get on the hunt for one of them right there. But back to the episode, man. So Gluty comes in, and as you can see on his forehead, he has stamped "Do not develop my app," and you know it's very distinct, very clear. Instructions are, "Do not develop my app." I don't know why it's so small, you can't see it, but it says right there on the forehead. You know, don't develop my app. Don't do it. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So as the breakfast goes on, you know, Rick, you know, decides it's time for him to biz ounce. Summer puts him on blast and lets the family know that, you know, he's about to go drop a deuce because Rick is a shy pooper, as they put it. So we see Rick take off, and he comes to like this beautiful, full of zen, like nothing but like cleanliness, you know, world. And this is one of the first times that, you know, we see him just kind of on a solo mission. You know, usually as Summer, Morty, Beth, or Jerry's dumbass might, you know, tag along or whatever. But this is one of the really first times we really see him like on a solo mission, and it's completely different than the drunk, alcoholic, outrageous, you know, completely erratic Rick that we're used to. You know what I mean? This is like paradise, like the way they described it when I'm a big fan of the Rick and Morty companion show podcast, and the way they described it on there was like, this is Rick's version of like cleanliness is next to godliness. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy seeing Rick in this type of environment, because is really, you know, the irony in it is this is exactly the opposite of who Rick Sanchez is. So he's here, he drops his deuce, you know what I'm saying? He's in peace, he's about to leave, and he notices a broken stick on the ground. And he goes, you know what I'm saying, like into straight investigation mode of trying to find out where this stick is and who it came from. And does all this data analysis. He pulls out, you know, a scanner, boom, you know, scans every, you know, creature and species on that, you know, on that world. None of them come out as a match. He does even more data, you know what I'm saying, and comes to find out like this sample comes from a sandwich. Now he's on, you know what I'm saying? Now he's on a manhunt of where did this sandwich come from? Who bought the sandwich? Who ate the sandwich? And who dropped the deuce in my secret toilet? You know what I mean? So now he's on a straight mission. In the meantime, Jerry's dumbass decides that he's gonna go, take a deuce of his own, comes back, runs into Gluty. They start chopping it up. And long story short, Gluty convinces this idiot to develop an app. So here we are. Jerry, developed an app with Gluty called Love Finders with 2 R's and a Z. One of the, what I'm saying, as you can see, none of the other names were any better. It is launch day. Gluty's sitting there with a smile. As you can see, Morty's sitting there just in complete distress because he already knows, Jerry, you screwed up. It clearly says it on his forehead. Do not develop my app, and you developed the app. So by this time, you know what I mean, Morty's on outrage because, Beth has called and said Summers ran off with some dude, and people are going crazy over this stupid app. So Morty's over here, threatening Gluty, telling him, take it down. We need to shut it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, do something, man. But, get this damn app off. Gluty ain't having it. He was just like, well, it is what it is. So they're threatening him. And, they're forcing him to take him to the mothership where, Gluty says that's where the servers are held. Go back to Rick now. Rick is on this manhunt. He's looking for this, this sandwich eater who just, sat and what's the word I'm looking for? Desanctified his damn toilet. You know what I mean? So he goes and he finds out the sandwich came from a deli. This deli is, owned by the frog people. Let me double check that. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, here we go. So this sandwich, right? It comes from a deli from Frog Restaurant. And Frog Restaurant is like a secret location to like an underground drug lord. This drug lord is Vermagerber. As you can see, the fly. There we go. As you can see, Vermagerber is a fly in a frog restaurant. Obviously, that's complete irony right there. He's sitting there in the beginning, like looking at one of the frogs, like, oh, you want to eat me, huh? You wish you could eat me, but you can't eat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just like a complete mockery of like what, the underground world is made up to be, or even, what I'm saying, anybody in that, that type of lifestyle is said to be. It's usually some guy who's normally would be considered, the prey, surrounded by what would normally be the predator, and he's the one calling the shots. He's the one, doing whatever because he may have the money or he may have the brains or whatever the case may be. But as you can see, you got this fly, sitting on a couch. You got, drugs, drinks on the table, and you got all these frogs around them, and these frogs don't look too brilliant, as you can tell, right? So Rick comes up in there. The frog threatens him, like, yo, what you want? He comes in there, and lets him hear one of his, children on the phone. The fly don't care. You know what I mean? He's like, I got 8,000 kids, you know what I'm saying? Or 80,000 kids. And you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, he checks his voice message and he has like half of his children on his voice messages. So he breaks down. He's like, yo, just, what you want? Where did the sandwich come from? He told him it came from one of his delivery drones. So Rick was like, whatever. So he goes to bounce and he threatens Rick right before he leaves. Rick hits him with the little one-liners and stuff. And it's just, it's a great scene, man, because it's just like, it's just like a typical mockery of, what, like I said, these underground worlds and that lifestyle is. It's usually this prey that is taking over and taking control. And they're usually really corny, really, he comes with the little one-liners and stuff like that. And, he's surrounded by protected by his predators. So, so Rick goes, after this situation happens, we're saying we're bouncing back and forth between, Rick, Jerry. Like I said, there's a lot going on. So you're bouncing back and forth between Rick, Jerry, and Summer. And, I think Summer right here, she's still on her first lover out of 4. And they're located right now at the Blue Balls Motel. They're fighting outside. People are telling them they don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like this is not the place for it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, as you can see, Summer and her mom are in a tug of war because Summer's obsessed with this app. Her mom knows she's freaking crazy, and she got like dudes coming from all over the damn place, like trying to get at her. Here we go. So now we back. Gluty. Morty and them had Morty and Jerry. Made Gluty take him to the ship. So there they are. They're telling them we need to get them off the server, just like Gluty was, giving them the old run around. You got another intern here giving them the old run around. In all reality, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole situation is like a joke because it's like you got people on both sides like giving commands and nobody really has any pull. Like one of them asked when they get to the intern, he asked, "Does anybody have a weapon?" He's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, okay." You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you're calling shots, but you know what I'm saying? Like, why nobody really has to listen to you. But, Jerry and, Morty are obviously, doing exactly what Gluty wants them to do. And that's, create the app. And now they're on the ship. So here we are. This is like their emperor. He's sitting on his throne, and here's another sequence where he's like, yo, what are we doing? And Gluty turns around. He's like, oh, we're waiting for somebody to come with a gun. So, you know what I mean? Like this whole situation is just like a complete mockery in itself. While the whole world, is sitting there running around going crazy over this Love Finders app. So while they're fighting, here we are, Gluty and Morty are seen fighting for the gun, trying to get control of the ship. And the irony in this situation is, as you can see, you have, the a couple in the back. These are like the overlords, and they're having a conversation of how your day was, how was everything, did you have fun today? And they're expressing to Morty and Jerry that love is, everything, and us humans take advantage of it, right? And we mistreat it, and we misuse it, and once something doesn't go our way, we no longer have love. And they're showing that they have like the ultimate amount of love. So here we are now, Rick, he's traveling through dimensions. He's still on a mission to find out who shitted in his shit. You know what I'm saying? And he finds a delivery drone. Delivery drone says, yeah, I delivered it. But before he can actually give him the information on who he delivered it to, as you can tell in the background, this is the Robot Wars. This is actually a phenomenal scene. If you go back and watch this is like such an amazing scene. Very Star Wars like, you know what I mean? And it was just it was cool to see Rick involved in this war between lizard people and robot drones. And all he's trying to do is get this chip out of this delivery drones, out of this, the remaining pieces of the delivery drone that, had got blown to smithereens by one of the lizard people. So as you can see here, Rick finds a chip, but the lizard people ain't having it. So he has to go into full Rick, Rick savage mode, and just starts chopping them up with the old Cyclop eyes. You know what I mean? So boom, we fast forward. Rick finds the chip, uploads it, finds who, who he delivered it to. Comes to find out it's this man here, Tony the Shy Pooper. Comes down to his job, hands him, the old turd in the box. Tony looks at it, asks to, be dismissed from work. He goes to the waiting room. And this is where, Rick begins the process of old execution. During this time, Tony gives him the old spill. Hey, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to finally be with my wife. And, she had passed a long time ago. And I just wanted, I found this toilet because I like to poop in peace and I'm a shy pooper. Rick ain't having it. He's furious because, you took his only sanctuary, which was his toilet. But at the same time, you hit him in the old soft spot because Rick is, Rick lost his wife. And, that's obviously, one of his, definitely one of his soft spots. So he sits there, he contemplates, and instead of pulling a bullet, right here in Tony's head, he goes and travels to a dimension with another Tony. He finds another Tony where his wife is still alive, and he has Tony ask what happened. Oh, my wife's alive. She's not dead. He asks, what did he do today? He's like, oh, I found this toilet and I shitted in it. So Rick just commenced to, saying, giving him the old beat down and throws him back in the portal. Throughout this process, he's telling Tony, hey, don't blame your dead wife on using my shit. Like, you're wrong. Don't use my shit. I never want to see you again. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your freebie. Like, I gave you a pass because your wife's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your freebie. Well, basically, Tony said, fuck that. So, as you can see here, Tony comes back and he uses it again. Rick catches him. And he just said, you know what, Tony, since you just don't give a shit, I'm going to go ahead and just send you on home. So Rick drops the old, drops the draws and just, plots, Tony right between his cheeks. As you can see here, Tony's up in heaven. He reunited with his wife in this toilet heaven, and they can poop whenever they want, wherever they want, however they want. You know what I'm saying? You got the old poop god up here. You know what I'm saying? He did a little old jig. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Tony's in heaven right now. He's in peace. But even in heaven, Tony managed to straight just fuck it up. So they had him in this bag filled with I'm not sure what it's called. I believe it was called globoflorbin. Let me double check that for y'all. Like to be precise. Yep, globoflin. So globoflin was it's a chemical that reaches deep into your innermost want, and it makes you dream of the stuff. So Tony comes out and he was like, man, you can put me in a simulation poop heaven, but you can't just share a toilet. Rick's like, hey, don't ever, disrespect my, my expertise. I didn't put you or simulate anywhere. Like, I gave you this, this chemical, and that's obviously your deep inner want. So that's on you, broski. So Rick tells him again, hey, look, this is like your second fucking chance. I never want to see you again. Get out of here. Him and Tony go with, a classic back and forth. Tony's like, yeah, we're going to be best friends. Rick's telling him, no, we're not. Tony's like, you're going to see me soon. Rick's telling him, nah, I'm not. They go back and forth, you know what I mean? And Tony's just like cool with it. He's like, yeah, yep, we're going to see each other again. You know what I mean? Like, just, he couldn't wait for it. So back to these two idiots. They're still on the ship. They're still trying to get free. They ended up getting locked up. Gluty ends up coming to their rescue. And the reason he does, well, he actually comes to assassinate him because they blame Gluty for bringing him on the ship. But Jerry, somehow, some way, in his most idiotic way possible, comes out and shows Gluty like, hey, I know why you're doing this, and that's because they don't use the app because there's no matches for them, just like there's no matches for Jerry. Well, we all know Jerry's just a fucking loser, and it is what it is, you know what I mean? But he pulls out this little tricky cleverness and, convinces Gluty to let him go. As they let him go, Gluty takes off, and Morty just, emphasizes to Jerry like how he's just a complete screw up, how he screwed the day up, and he's completely embarrassed of him. So here we are now, and Rick comes back and he wants to do the right thing. So he comes and he drops like these X-Lax chocolates off to Tony. You know what I mean? Basically as like, hey man, like, just go ahead and use the toilet, bro. Like, it's all good. This is basically like Rick's way of like giving friendship. We don't see Rick like or trust people very too often, but then, we see him in this form of empathy or sympathy for Tony. And he was just like, man, he comes and brings him some chocolates, a little coffee, pretty much all like some X-Laxes, you know what I mean? The secretary just, breaks the news that Tony died. He had quit a couple weeks ago, and he went skiing down Space Mount Everest. and like he crashed and and he died and stuff. So Rick throws a couple puns at her. She don't pick it up. He gets irritated and he fucking leaves. But he just he you can see he's a little down about it. You know what I mean? Like he's like, damn, like Tony died. What the hell? Um, Summer, all throughout while all this is going on, Summer's in and out of relationships. And she finds her fourth love, her fourth and final love, and Beth's just done with it. So they go to war. They fight. Beth says she's gonna mother the shit out of Summer. Summer says she's gonna outdaughter the hell out of Beth. You know what I'm saying? So they go to this classic mother daughter battle. That it's common to hear that most mother and daughters as they get older have. So these two just they go to war. Beth ends up or Summer ends up winning, gets her phone back. As she uses her phone, it starts having ad blocks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like your typical apps, So people download these apps and it'll be real popular and everybody will be using it. And then as soon as all these ads come and buy this and purchase this, people just delete it, don't want nothing to do with it anymore, on to the next one. That's how it is. That's how everything is today. And that's exactly what they showed in this episode. Like, okay, so they threw on the ad blocks and now everybody's deleting the app. So we go back to the perfect couple now, right? And as they see everybody deleting the apps, they start fighting now, because they came to Earth because Earth has an abundant amount of water and their species, lives off of water. But now that everybody deleted the app on Earth, they're not going to be able to get the water. So they start fighting, which goes back to what they said in the beginning of the irony of, that they were the perfect couple because they have true love to compare to like humans who, once we don't get what we want, the love goes away. And this is a good example and it shows us exactly what they're talking about. So everything starts going back to normal. Everybody's home, the family's back at home. Beth and Jerry, they come back together. Jerry asked Beth if he used the app. He said no. She asked him if he used it. She said no. And come to find out, she really did. And she was like linked up with Ted Danson here. You know what I mean? But she just deletes the app and just says, oh well. So now we're closing out the episode, and Rick goes and pays his tributes to Tony. Comes to the funeral. He sees his dad. Gives his dad a bunch of money. He gives his Rick version of a couple good words. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, hey, if it makes any difference, like I visited Tony in a couple other timelines, and in one of them he became like a real bad person and he committed a lot of like genocide. So he was just like, if that helps out, you know what I mean, just know like you lucked out. The dad turns around and tells him, oh, I know what it's like to miss a friend. Rick's like, fuck that, he wasn't my friend. Which goes back to us seeing that how Rick doesn't trust nobody, he doesn't like having friends. And one of the times that he opens up his heart, we see what happens. So here we are now back, the episode's closing out. And the reason this portion, well, I'll get into that a little bit, but so as it closes out, we see Rick here, the king of shit. Boom, that's why I got the old king of shit shirt on. You know what I mean? We got the old king of shit Funko right here, Rick with the crown. Bam. I don't know if you can see that. Bam, there we go. And this is, the rundown of the episode right here. We see him. He basically set the toilet up for Tony. So when Tony would have came and used it, he would have got the king of shit crown on him. He had like a whole setup with the holograms and the speakers and just chanting at Tony, but in a real demeaning type way of like, oh, here's your toilet, you're gonna use it forever. You're just gonna be lonely, this and that, real just putting down type messages, but with a bunch of Ricks. So it would have been Tony sitting there with a bunch of Ricks, but instead now it's Rick sitting there looking at himself, and in the end he's still alone. And now his peaceful place that he once had will always be a remembrance of how he's going to be alone. So, that's where it basically the episode comes to an end, and then we get to the mid credit scene. We see Jerry, and he goes to the fridge in the middle of the night and takes a sip of that Glorbaflin, and like I said, it gives you that deep inner want. And here we go, and Jerry is a damn water delivery man, and he just finished his first job, gets back in the truck. He got about 900 more to go, and snaps back into reality. And obviously, that's Jerry's inner want, because it's Jerry and he's a complete loser. So he just starts drinking a bottle, So, and then we come to the end of the episode. Boom, we're done. Hey man, like I said, this has got to be one of my favorite episodes. Like I said, a lot going on in that episode, a whole lot going on, man. And what I liked about it, man, was there was a lot of creator freedom, a lot of artist freedom in that. And the reason I say that is because if you actually go watch the episode, there's a lot of scenes in this episode where there's no dialogue. It's just straight artistic view, clip after clip, drawing after drawing. There's no dialogue, there's no talking heads and stuff like that. So this was, from an artistic standpoint, this was a great episode to have so many things going on, so many comparisons going on. It was really, really it was really cool to see, man. You know what I mean? And comic book fans or animation fans, this is definitely one to watch, whether you're a fan of the show or not. This is definitely one to watch because you just get to see so much animation with no dialogue playing, and you just get a real appreciation for the art. So that's the way I see it. And honestly, I think that's what the high point of the episode, in my opinion, was just the visual, creations, the artistic creation. A lot of moving pieces. You went from the beginning scene to at home to now we're in this, this Zen garden. And from that point, it was just constant back and forth between all the places that Rick traveled to, all the places that, Summer was going, because, every time she had a new lover, she'd end up somewhere else. You know what I mean? Jerry and Morty didn't travel to a lot of places, but with all the different creatures and you know what I mean, different forms of the same species, it was a lot. It was a lot for it had to have been a lot of fun for the artists, the graphic designers, the visual designers, directors, producers. It had to be a whole lot of fun. I could just imagine the creativity, the the meetings and the back and forth that they had to come up with this stuff. I know them talks were just, they had to have been just out of this world. The scene where Rick, him and Tony are in the meeting room, and he hits him with the fart bomb, that the hand comes out and gives him the finger. Like that shit right there is just that's just creative genius. It's such such a great such a great gift to the audience, for us to be able to see these creative minds in this manner. My biggest takeaway from this episode, it's got to be the whole Rick situation. Even though there was a lot going on with Gluty and the Love app, and that comparison to social media and stuff like that. You had because even though the Beth and Summer scenes and the Rick and the Jerry and Morty scenes were separate, that whole situation all played together. You know what I mean? But Rick's situation was just complete solo. And it went from it being him just wanting to be isolated by himself to going on this top secret mission to find out who used his secret toilet. And like in doing so, it's like for somebody that wants to be alone and by himself, you put a whole lot of effort in to finding somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's like that's the takeaway I see in it, right? Like you did all this for somebody who wants to be by themselves. You went and did all this to find somebody. And then when you found them, you know, you had continuous interaction with him up until he died, you know, and you kept telling yourself like you didn't like this person, yet you were doing things for this person. Like you had ample opportunity. You had 2 chances to kill this person and you didn't do it either times. The first time, you know, you had the sympathy, you went to the other dimension, you know, you whooped, you know, another timeline of Tony's ass and gave him a chance. Then you used your toilet right after again and you sat on him, making it believe that he got killed and sent to heaven, but he really didn't because you just gave him the globoflin and put him in this like, you know, this mental state of mind. But then Tony fucks that up and you know, you save him again, tell him I never want to see you again. And the third time you went to have interaction with him, you actually went on your own because you're like, you know what? I want to have like that. He wanted to have that friendship with him just to find out that he couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony died. And you had, and that just goes like to show with like us, like the comparison with us in life is, you know, we'll have people who constantly try to get into our lives and we'll deny them. And they'll be genuine and we'll deny them. And then when it's convenient for us, we'll go back and look for that because that's what we want, whether it's a friendship or a relationship or whatever, and it won't be there no more. And now we're sitting there like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happened to Rick. Now he's sitting there on his toilet that, you know, he set up, you know, for Tony. He went and did all this for Tony. You know what I mean? Yeah, you set up all these holograms and everything, but you did it for somebody else. And now you're the one stuck having to use it. And now you got these speakers and these holograms just like all in your face reminding you how you forever will be alone. And I think that was one of my biggest takeaways because, you know, this aside from, you know what I'm saying, the fact that he was just mad that somebody was using his damn toilet. Shit, you know what I mean? I'd be mad if somebody used my toilet, man. Like if I have to use a restroom and somebody's in my house using my toilet, I'd be mad. Let alone somebody that I don't even know using my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn. I got the shit. What up, bro? No privacy? This beer, bro? Spuds, my brother.
hey man, sometimes you just gotta drop a deuce in somebody's house that you don't know. You know what I mean? But but you know what I mean? I would be mad. I would be mad if somebody's dropping deuces in my stuff. You know what I mean? But aside from that, the bigger picture, that was just a small picture. The bigger picture, like I said, is the fact that, you know, went from isolation, being alone to going on this extravagant mission to find somebody. And when you and When you find them, you reject them till it's convenient, and then once it's convenient, it's no longer there. And I feel like, that's basically what happened to Rick in this situation. Um, it's like the same way, this goes back, and this is like the second time it's really happened to him that we've seen. When we go back to the first time when he reunited with Unity, and he went on this splurge with her, drinking, drugs, sex, and then it was killing Unity, so she pulled away, and then now Rick is once again alone, and we seen at the end like where he tried to kill himself, but he just didn't end up doing it. And this is very similar to that situation. Obviously it's not to the extent of him wanting to try to kill himself, but it did remind him of that emptiness void he had inside. So that obviously, like I said, is one of my biggest, takeaways out of this episode. As far as comparisons go, man, like I said, there was so many comparisons in this episode. We go back to the Robot Wars, and we go back to like the Robot Wars. If like pull these up real quick, you take a picture, like if you look at scenarios like these, scenarios like this one, we go back and we look at like what's it called, the throne, where Jerry and Morty were on the mothership. All of those were all comparisons and resemblance to Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like they gave like a complete nod to Star Wars, and the Monagatrons, that's what they're called on the ship, the Monogatron leaders. So they went ahead and gave like a nod to Star Wars. That's where they got like the idea for the throne and the chamber right there. They went back to look at Vader's and the Emperor's chamber and like how it was set up, and they just kind of got like some type of they made it have a Star Wars type feel. When they had the Robot Wars versus the Lizard People, they gave it like a Star Wars type feel. You know what I mean? So that was one fun comparison. But my favorite comparison actually had to be went back when, let's see if I can find a picture. I'm gonna find a picture for y'all, but my favorite comparison had to be back when Rick first, in the beginning of the episode, when Rick first, dropped the old deuce, and he found the broken stick, and he starts doing all that, the super hi-fi investigation and things like that. He's scanning the stick, and all of that came. The writers and everything, they said that. Yep, right here. Here we go. Yeah, when he used that scanner and stuff like that for the impact force, and you know what I mean, and he found the poop, and the poop turned into a sandwich and all that. All that actually came and resembled the old Batman Arkham games, when Batman would sneak around and you would have to scan certain areas, and you would have to like put things together to find out what happened. That's actually where this whole situation came from. So the whole like him in his secret lair with all the computer screens and running data and transferring data, and that all actually came and was based off of the Batman Arkham games, which were some of my favorite games on the PlayStation. Me and the homies me and ACS, especially used to play that shit all the time. You know what I mean? So I really did like that comparison. Great comparison. A few metaphors in there, like I said, with the social media apps, the love finders. That's just a straight knock to like, not even just like the dating apps themselves, but just apps in general. But it is a major knock to like, dating apps like I can't even think of any of the names off the top of my head, but yeah, like all them like the dating apps that everybody, you'll get on there, and they'll guarantee that you're gonna find the love of your life. And but just in case that love of its life decides to delete his profile, or if he happened to meet the love of his life the day before, they got other apps where you can find the love of your life. And it usually works that way, where everybody uses it, becomes a trend, and once it does, and they start putting ads on there, and they start adding like, "Yo, pay for this," or VIP memberships and blah blah blah. That's when people start deleting them, and that's kind of basically what happened, in this episode here. You know what I mean? And these people, like when you take it like the metaphor, when you compare it to like the Gluty situation, he don't care. Like these companies, they don't care. They just develop these apps and they just throw them out there. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. And people are just gonna, once it becomes a little trend, it blows up. And when it fails, they're just on to the next one, and they create something exactly, you know what I'm saying, exactly like the old one, but just with a new name. And that was like the whole concept of this episode, man, was, just a lot of irony in it. Like I said, there was, a whole bunch of metaphors, a lot of takeaways. And I think the creative team, aside from, Justin and Dan, I think the whole creative team on this episode, which I'm going to start doing next week. I keep saying I'm going to do it for these last 2 episodes, but I am going to start doing it. And that's, tagging up um tagging like the artists and the directors of each episode and stuff like that, man, because I feel like, a lot of times they don't get enough credit, the artist teams and the board, the storyboard teams and all that stuff. I feel like they don't get enough credit. So I'm going to make sure, like, the next time I put out my description, man, like, I'm going to tag and put all, like, these directors and producers' names in the description. So when you look at the description, you know what I mean, you'll see like who made this episode, who was in charge of this episode. And that way, if you want to go and check out more of their work, then you can go check out more of their work. But it's just, the small people, me, giving out a shout out to the small people in the big world, storyboard artists, graphic designers, stuff like that. Just small people helping small people, man. You know what I mean? But all right. So on to the next, right? We did the comparisons and metaphors. So, favorite character of this episode. So a lot of characters in this episode. But surprisingly, maybe it's not my favorite character. Where we at? Boom, right here. Vermigerber. Vermigerber had to been my favorite character. He was corny. He had the horrible one-line puns. But he was the mob boss. You know what I mean? He was the perfect example of the perfect mob boss. He didn't give a shit about his kids. He's a small guy. He's the prey in charge of the predator. He's the fly. They got the irony of a fly in a frog restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So this was just my guy. He was just, a lot of energy, real funny guy, real wise guy type, you know what I mean? And yeah, man. So this week, man, shouts out to old Vermigerber, man, you know what I'm saying? Cause you won the favorite character of the episode.
You sons of bitches.
There you go. And all right, man. So there were a couple locations. I want to start throwing that out there, so as we travel this Rick and Morty dimension, we're going to travel a lot of different locations. And so in this episode, we did hit a few locations that we had not seen before or heard of, that we've already mentioned. The first one being, like I said, was the frog restaurant. This is, the headquarters for, Vermigerber. She best frog food in the Gorgon quadrant. So obviously, you see that's where this takes place, is the Gorgon quadrant in the frog planet at the frog restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Home to the underground layer of Vermigerber. So that was one location right there. Then we go to the Blue Balls Motel. This is where, Morty and her first true love went. Or not Morty, Summer and her first true love went. And the home to the broken, the depressed, the hopeless, and a place where you can go and nobody give a shit about your problems. And then last but not least, we had, let me make sure I get this name right of this location, Midland Quasar. So Midland Quasar was where they had the robot, versus lizard people war. I'm not sure which dimension this is. Obviously, it's a different dimension. I don't know where exactly it is. I don't know if they've been there before, but as far as Midland Quasar, that is the first time we've seen it. Curious to see if they come back to it later on. This new season, it looks like he does travel to a lot of spots. So we could be seeing more of the Midland Quasar. We could not be seeing it. So, but yeah, this was definitely our first look at it. And obviously there they have a war going on between the lizard people. Well, the war's ended, and the drones have won because Rick helped eliminate the lizard people. Here we go. Let's see where we at. What we coming up with? Okay, so moving right along. RIPs. RIP. So we had a couple losses in this episode, and I just want to go ahead and take this time to, give my my tribute, my memorial, my best wishes to the ones we lost this episode. So let's go ahead and do that right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, where are we at? Oh, wait a minute. I might not. Let's see if I have it. Nope. I thought I had a tribute for y'all, man, but I guess I don't. It's all good. Thought I did. I don't know what happened to it. I did have one for y'all, man, but I don't know what happened to it. Oh, well. But yeah, so we had a few losses this episode. We had a couple of the lizard people that we lost. We lost a couple of the drones. But the biggest loss, obviously was oh no, wait a minute. I found it. So let me go ahead and put this together. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Thank you. Bear with me. So yeah, like I said, we lost the lizard people, we lost a few of the drones, and we lost, the poor homie Tony the shy pooper. Every episode we're gonna go ahead and send out our tributes. So at this time, let's go ahead and run that. Yeah, man, I had to get that up in there. My bad, man. I should have had that ready for y'all. But RIP delivery drone, lizard people, and RIP Tony the shot pooper. May you poop in peace in heaven, homie. So as we come to an end of this week's episode, we are going to get ready for next week's episode, and I hope you do all join us. We will be going over One Crew Over the Cuckoo's Morty. In this episode, we have Rick come encounter with one of his old nemesis who, is in love with pulling heists, which happened to be like Rick's like number one pet peeves. Like Rick cannot stand heists. He hates heist movies. He hates everything about them. So this is actually a really fun episode. A lot of funny, a lot of punchlines, a lot of characters, a whole lot of characters. So make sure that you follow me on the IG page and hit me on the IG page at Rickle Me Pick, or you can hit me on my personal one at the original NR. Leave a comment here on the YouTube comment for NR Originals. You can find me on Twitter at NR_originals. But go on there, man. I'm gonna leave some this week. I'm gonna leave some topics. I know last week I kind of bullshitted with the promotion and the self-promoting and the crowd engagement and stuff, but this week I'm going to be better at it with it, man. And I'm gonna put up some topics, some questions. I want to see what y'all favorite characters for this next episode is. I want to see what y'all biggest takeaways for this next episode is. So I want to compare what y'all think to what I think. You know what I mean? Because like I said, this show is for the fans. It's only gonna get better. We're gonna do more. We're gonna add more. Like I said, um the more fan base I pull in, the more I get, fans engaged on the IG page at Rickle Me Pick. The more engaged I can, I start to get people and stuff. Uh, the more live the show is going to become. I'm going to start moving it to the evenings. So it's going to be starting next week. We are going to be conducting the show around 10, 11 ish in the evening. I just feel like that's, these last 2 weeks were just like a test run of when I want to run it. But I feel like running it in the evening time will be a lot better, just because if you're like me and you're in you like adult animation anyways, like this is what time we're up watching, TV, watching YouTube videos anyway. So I think I'm going to start moving my time to, the evening time. I do live on the Eastern time zone. So we going, we just going to make it work, man. And like I said, everybody that viewed in last week, I appreciate y'all. Please follow, please subscribe. You know what I mean? Share it with your homies, share it with your friends. If you know anybody that likes Rick and Morty, hey, tell them this is a spot they need to be. We will be doing raffles. I'll be giving away Funko Pops. I'll be giving away magazines. As you can see, I'm adding to the spot. I'll be giving away books. I'll be doing all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's going to be all Rick and Morty related. I got many Funkos that we're going to be going, so once the crowd engagement and the audience starts building, man, trust me, I got plenty to give. I got plenty to, put out for the audience, for the Rick and Morty fans, man. So like I said, we're getting ready for, season 5 in June. We're getting ready for the build up, the anticipation. I'm ready. I know y'all ready. You know what I mean? It's going to be a great thing. I appreciate everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody for, all the love. Like I said, please follow, subscribe, hit up the YouTube channel, hit up the IG pages, hit me on Twitter. Hey, man, whatever you want to do, Rick and Morty related, I'm all for it. Anybody with Rick and Morty knowledge, anybody who just loves the show, loves everything about it, and you want to get on the show, get at me. You know what I'm saying? This show is for the Rick and Morty people. I got some more stuff coming up for my adult animation people, but this one here is for my Rick and Morty people. So if you want to get up here and talk about Rick and Morty, you want to break down an episode with me, you got a favorite episode that, in the future, you want to just break it down. Hey, get at me. We're going to get on here. We're going to do the damn thing. And we're going to make this like I said, man, it's going to be a great show. It's not going to be like, like your typical shows. This show is for the fans. I want this show fan controlled. It's like I said, this is all unscripted. Everything on this show is unscripted. So, you know what I mean? Whatever ideas the fans have, throw them at me. I'm going to stir them up in a pot and we're going to put all this shit together, man. And we're going to make this shit work. But until then, I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate y'all for showing up. I appreciate y'all for viewing. All my aliens, all my intergalactics, all my outer dimensions, all my outer worlders. I appreciate y'all for showing love. I appreciate y'all for showing love. And until next time, this has been another episode of Rickle Me Pick. I am NR. This has been an NR original production. Thank y'all for coming, baby. And we out this piece. See y'all next week.
Bro, and that, ladies, is how you put on a show. Idiots. You don't live here. Yo, 420, let me hit that. What do you don't live here. Yo, pick these sticks back up, scrub. Yeah.